6th of April. This is the weekend webinar. Markets certainly making a nice progress over the last few weeks, but in the last few days we saw some real resistance on the S&P up around the 5265 area, and matter of fact, on three occasions. And then Thursday's big plunge followed by Friday's snapback. That makes Thursday's low very important for me, 5146, followed by 5075. 508, 80 in this area. That's the line for me with moving averages and lateral price support there. If we break that, we have a big problem with the market. On the other side of the coin, if they should accelerate back up again and take out the highs, about 52.64.5. The projection is 53.50, give or take 5-10 points. On the Nasdaq 100, you can see a similar pattern. You're still in a rising channel, and until they take out 17.765 area, where there's a triple bottom, the market still has room to run to the upside. However, this reversal day on Thursday was very negative, and we'll just have to see if it results in any downside. So far, it hasn't. There's also the 50-period moving average that comes in at 17.915. So somewhere between 17.915 and 764, that's about 150.1% buffer in there. On the upside, want to see this declining top line taken out, and then your targets are 18.6 and 18.985. So still healthy on both of those, despite the big pullback on Thursday for now. Let's look at transportation. Not confirming, indeed it hasn't. Look at this. This has been since December in a sideways coil. Now, after rebottoming in the end of October and running up in a 5-wave advance, it's got a nice 1-2. So if we ever break out, and say across, for starters, across 16,255.60, this thing could, take off and confirm any additional advances in the Nasdaq 100 or the S&P 500. The IWM was a problem, we'll say, in that, it pulled back recently. It had a big negative reversal day on Thursday as well. I think the key number for this one is you see under 199.5 in that area, 199 area. This could really hurt the market. On the other hand, the bounce Friday off of support would be key for me. I don't want to see this on the 202. A run up could challenge the 211 area where there's some resistance, but the target at 219. So not exactly wowing me, the IWM or the transportation, but S&P and NDX are hanging tough for now. And there's utilities as well. Sorry, this is the transportation index. Platforming needs to break out over 16.2 and change. This has been in a sideways consolidation for quite a while now. Nasdaq 100, S&P 500, even though they're consolidating, I had a bad day Thursday. Not the end of the world, not yet. I think Monday, if we gap down and break these patterns, that would be very negative for the market, and vice versa. Should it gap up and run through the double, triple tops we're seeing. Underlying technicals, column oscillator is kind of a minus 44, not terrible, not oversold. It did get to almost minus 100, minus 92 and 93. But there's been a couple bottoms in the last couple of months, so nothing dramatic, but we have gotten rallies off this level. And you can see where resistance is. Right now, the oscillator has been in a much narrower range over the last few months than it has been in the last few years, with highs around 100 and lows around the minus 100. The former ranges were plus 200, minus 200. So see what I mean? Down here and up there. So the overall market has been somewhat narrower. Well, we know that by advanced declines and up-down volume we've seen. Now the percentage of stocks above the 40 pulled back when I told you when it got up into the 70, it was a little extended. And it got down Friday morning, was down to 50. Closing 54, so a little bit more than half the stocks are above the 40, which does not tell me how that the market has broad participation. It doesn't. The VIX, for the first time in a while, spiked up a little bit. That's the first time in 7 weeks or so. I could not get through resistance at this declining top line. And this goes back, a year and a half. So we'll see. I think though, if the VIX pops above 18, and we see the oscillators in an area where the market is, vulnerable, then I think this spikes and gets into the low to mid 20s. So the ultra short UVIX, UVXY could be interesting if we pop. That's it for now. Now, as we always do, we look at the major exchange traded funds for the big groups, the semiconductors, biotechs, and financials. Here's the SMH. So if you see any bear market here, let me know. Right now, this, although it's consolidated in a downward phase, slightly downward slope for about 2 weeks, it's still within the confines of a big consolidation. It may even be construed as a large wedge as well. Take a look. Looking at it on an hourly basis, it's a different perspective. See the large coil? The SMH ever breaks out above here, this is going to 255, and that would be a major blow-off bull market action. We'll see. On the financials, sorry, on the financials, this is the hourly chart. You can see the kind of a triple top. This is key support right now. You'll want this under 104. Okay, and here's what the daily looks like. Still in a nice uptrend. I'm not sure if it's a rounding top or a head and shoulders or whatever you want to call it. But a break down below 104.45, which was not only Thursday's low, but the low of the last couple of 3 weeks, would be negative. It would probably test the 50, coming in around 100. But that would break the major intermediate trend line, and you'll see that could lead to much lower levels. So keep an eye on financials. The negatively diverging group is biotechs. They have not been great of late. Take a look at this. After a beautiful run that saw it go in November, the XBI go from 63 to 105. It's come down towards 90, but take a look at the pullback low in February. 86 and change, 86, 87. So 86.7 zone is important. We want to see if the market can hold here in the biotech sector. This might be the long-term chart. I don't know, but any breakdown below here, and that's going to be very negative for the markets. So we have XBI in a down channel, while the SMH forms a coil. The financials also kind of coiling or wedging in here, but it depends. Again, looking at the hourly chart of this one, is it a head and shoulders, rounding top, or is it just a consolidation? Well, until the neckline is broken, meaning under 104.5 or so on the FAS, we're not that far, 2 points. That could lead the market lower, but we'll just have to see. Right now, they're coming down, I think, on disappointment that rate cuts are not that as imminent as they thought in June, perhaps even not until July or later. All right, anyway, for this, there's a look at the financials, semiconductors, and biotechs. Just another quick look at the hourly biotech. This is the XBI, and you can see that since March at 104, it's come all the way down into the high 80s. It's still in a downtrend until that turns around. There's negative divergences on the XBI. Simple as that. So what about the major components? Nasdaq 100 generals, leaders, market leaders, tech leaders. Well, Apple obviously hit its peak back here at 199.62. The prior peak before that was 198.27, so a massive major double top, 8 months apart, and then this new downtrend in play. I told you a couple weeks ago that looked like a bear flag because it ran back up to resistance in a perfect little channel. It's a bear flag, all right. And then it reversed and it came down to test. Any break of this zone and Apple goes down to 161 or less, that would be negative for the market, that's for sure. But it also might complete a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down. So Apple is not positively helping out here. On the other hand, look at Amazon. Near all-time highs. We reached a double top in 21 at 188.65, 188.11, and yesterday we're reaching 186 and change. We're right near massive all-time double top and resistance there. This is what it looks like on an hourly. Here's your recent pattern. Nice rising channel, isn't it? So until we break down, we could break out the new all-time highs. If that occurs, that'll really help the market go higher, I think. Google, here's the hourly chart. It can run up in a rising pattern. On a daily, you'll see we reached all-time high, I believe, 157. That's right. And then backed off, but only to reverse on Friday. So watch Friday's low. And the absolute drop dead stop on Google would be, for me, under 147. Microsoft, also quite strong, forming a bull coil and a rising pattern that is extremely bullish, one of the best on the board. Here's your hourly look. Nice coil developing, isn't it? Your target, 455. That's 30 points, folks. If Microsoft breaks out, that's going to help the market run. Looking at NVDA, obviously a powerhouse, but you can see that in the last couple of weeks it's been struggling as after a monster move, and this reversal day, trying to get through it was unsuccessful. You do not want NVIDIA under 830.540. Under 835.40, it's going to come down to 805 and maybe a lot worse. So let's just see if this coil develops into a bull coil or a topping pattern that rolls over. NVIDIA is telltale in this market. And if this breaks out to the upside, NVIDIA ever gets over 968, look out. Our next target would be 1100. Netflix has been quite strong. It's the new all-time high, folks, I believe ever. No, I'm wrong. It's the highest level we reached since the end of 21 when it reaches all-time high at 704, I think it was. Yeah, over 700. So we're up to 637, and if we blow through this rising channel, we could see 700 again. Very strong chart. There's the hourly look. You can see why I'm saying Netflix is a leader. What about Meta? Well, Meta may be the strongest of all. Look at this long-term chart. And breaking out of the coil already ahead of everybody else is now at an all-time high. My projection would be at least to test 550 here. And again, as your hourly look, it's pretty powerful. People holding Meta calls are making a lot of money. Powerful chart. All right, we're going to move on to check on Tesla. Now, this is the hourly chart. You can see they came down a few times and held this 160, 61 zone. But for Tesla, massive resistance is 184, 4.5. That's where it's got to break out above. For starters, you're in a downtrend. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we may get a fifth wave, or it could be a three-wave corrective base and breakout. But now Tesla is the last couple days were solid, but again, anything under 160, look out. Where can it go below that? Next target is 151. So it's 20 points down from here if it doesn't work. So that's a negative pattern within the Nasdaq 100 generals list. All right, gonna move on. We got a bunch of stocks to talk about, long and short. Bear with me today. There's a lot of good ones. ABUS, take a look at this. There are some junior biotechs still doing well. This one had a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a massive fifth wave spike up. But notice it did not back off much, and it's coming on yet again. Should it break through here, this could be a $4 stock pretty quickly. Keep an eye. ACMR in the semiconductor group exploded a month ago and coiled. It looks like it may be coming on again. Key though is going to be getting to 34.5. Then your target's 39. ACTG, a low price stock with a beautiful base and a run up into resistance and through it, and now consolidating above it, even though it pulled back Friday. Something to watch and see how it sets up for potentially the next leg, which could take you to about 8. Excuse me. The next legs would be 6.5 and 7.5. ACMR. Just mentioned that. ADMA, a beautiful biotech stock on a beautiful uptrend, which has gone since the October low at 3 to more than double to 6.75, and basically with such a sharp rising angle, no lack of momentum, I wouldn't be shocked to see 7 and 8 on this time. ADXN breaks out of a base after a long downtrend and ran up and spiked last week. Breakaway gap as well. I can see the stock making a run near term to about 20, 21, and if he gets through that, who knows where that can go. AEM, look, I'm going to cover some golds today. The gold obviously has made a major move of late. Agnico Eagle is a major gold miner. That's AEM. Here's something I want to show you. Long-term downtrend. Beautiful double bottom base. Broke out. I got right to resistance here. Any movement here should get you, and it might do that short term to 67. That's your target. I will say these are all extended, but the momentum is very strong. American Eagle Outfitters in the retail sector are just incredible. Here's a beautiful chart. It has gone from 10 to 26. My target is 30. AG in the silver group, explosive move from this junior silver. It's taken it from the February low at 4.25 to nearly 8, almost doubled, and you can see there's resistance up here. The ideal preference for any of these stocks would be to set up in a consolidation for a few weeks or even a week or two. Next target is 9.5, but I wouldn't say go straight there. I would say look for a better entry opportunity on any of these gold and silvers. Here's the silver AGQ Pro Share Silver long ETF. Finally broke across triple top. Now attacking the double top. Resistance at 36.625. You get through that. Longer term targets are in the low 40s, low to mid 40s. ALAR, another beautiful junior biotech, broke out of its flag last week, popped and pulled back, but had an inside day Friday. Still looking for 30.31. ALDX also coming out. This is another junior biotech after basing, exploding the last week and a half, make it going from 290 to almost 5. My extension target is 540, 545. But I'd love to see it set up a better flag and then maybe move to 7. ANGO, yet another medical biotech stock that's gone from 5 and change to 7 and change. It's had really nice volume the last couple of days. It's filled the gap, however. If it sets up better, the next target 8 and 9. APP, this is a tech trader swing when it popped to pull back. It's gone from mid 50s to mid 70s. Like the way this looks, almost at my clear target here. But on a long-term basis, there's no stopping the stock. We can see $100. ARQT, beautiful multi-wave move, now a long consolidation. But look what happened Thursday, Friday. It broke out. Volume isn't as strong as I'd like it to see. So what I'm going to say is if it gets above 1235 and the volume's there, above that, then we could be looking at 15 and 19. ATMM, Actinium, another biotech, broke out, retested, spiked, and then retested again. Key support there, and then bounced right back to resistance. At this point, I'm not going to be shocked to see $11 tested. EU, this is one of my favorite, if not my favorite gold. Big base, breakaway gap, running gap, pullback retest of the breakout point. That's leg 1. This is 2. This is 3 underway. Should lead to at least 26.7, eventually 30 or better. BDTX, another junior biotech, and a beautiful rising channel broke out here. Retested there, forming a wedge or inverse head and shoulders. You see it? Cup and handle is more like it. My target's 6.75 and 8. Biohaven in a beautiful rising channel, and it has been for the rest almost all year. There's your breakaway move and a rising channel, currently consolidating. If biotechs hold up, this might very well see mid 70s. Bluebird, BLBD, pop, beautiful wedge, breakout, another wedge. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth wave's underway, but it might be a 1, 2, or 5. I'm looking for 3, 4, and 5 to get us into the mid 40s. BRBR, look at this baby. Low 20s, low 60s, tripled. And yet I don't see any but I don't see any major top formations here. Possible extension 70. CADL Thursday and Friday were stellar. It did pull back from resistance on Friday. Massive volume traded. 250,000 shares nearly in 2 days. For a stock that never trades anywhere near that. So it's extended. We'll look for some backing and filling for a bit, and then maybe we can get it higher. CART, beautiful rising channel as it breaks out of its base after the IPO brought it down. There's your breakout, and there's your run-up. I'm not going to be surprised to see this thing test the IPO high. It's going to be low 40s. Kava breaks out of a base, consolidates, and trends upward. This is a retail restaurant chain. A beautiful rising channel. Now at the channel bottom, target high 70s. Seco Environmental. CECO, beautiful rising channel. Look how long this has been in running. Since 4 to 24. 6-fold increase over the last couple of years. But it recently just broke out of a wedge and might be extending to 27. Well, CGC has been a monster of late. Literally gone from 2 3/4 to 11 and change. 300% increase. And with this angle, if it continues, 14.15 is your target. Unbelievable. What a recovery. CGNT. Cognite's been on my list since it broke out here and formed a flag. That's where we gave you a swing of 3 3/4. It's made it up, doubled it, and then some to 8.5. You can see the current pattern shows narrowing, rising wedge. If it pops, 9.5 target. CLS, beautiful rising pattern ever since May of 23 when it was trading at under 10. Well, it's made it to over 50 and 5-fold increase. But just recently broke out of another coil. It might be headed 60. CNK, Cinemark, spiked on Friday and breaking it out to the highest level we've seen in this stock. And this is a massive inverse head and shoulders. I can see this target of 24. Core broke out. We put a swing on it and ran up to higher levels. But look at this pattern now. It's either a beautiful bull wedge or a head and shoulder top. We won't know until we break down or break out, so stay tuned. If it does break out, 66 and 73 are targets. COLL, I've been following the stock for years. I like Collegium. The base was broken there. The nice little consolidation flag, and now a rising patterns underway. The stock might very well see mid to high 40s. Koya, as you know, a favorite of mine since it was trading at 4 and change, and I put a swing on it. It ran up to target at 8, pulled back. Ran up to a target near 11 and pull back. Your next target is 14.15. CRBP exploded wedge, popped, and then had a folding little flag there. Could be breaking out. Keep an eye on this one. I like the look of it. High 40s and 60 are targets. Cardiff popped a big volume here and just never looked back. Recent coil popped out. You can see we have resistance at around 6.5. You get through that. 7.5 and 8 3/4 of targets. Credo, beautiful chart, broke out here. We put a swing on it. It kept running up, but it's choppy. Over the last 4 or 5 weeks, you can see the coil that's developed should have break out again. My target's 27. CRNT, a current tech traded swing, beautiful rising channel, long-term base broken. My target now 4.5 and 6 1/4. CRNX broke out, flag. We put a swing on it. It's been nothing but up since then. A little choppy sometimes, consolidating here and there, but I'm not looking for 52 target. Carpenter Steel or Carpenter Technologies, formerly Carpenter Steel, and a beautiful rising channel. Multi-year breakout, target triple digits. Credo. Pop wedge, put a swing on it. It kept running. It looks great. I think you're going to see high 30s on this one. CXAI, pop, pullback, pop, falling wedge, falling pattern here. Exploded with a breakaway move, and now wedging again. I got to tell you that the way this looks, if we get any kind of volume to the upside and it takes out 560, I'd be looking for $8. Dave. Well, you know what? I've been showing you this the last couple of weeks, but it's pretty impressive. And I think it's pretty thin. It's one of those stocks that can go, literally 75 to 100, but at 37.68, my target is 45 and 55 for starters. As you know, Dell was a tech trader swing back in September when I think it was 69. It doubled to 131 and change, almost doubled, and then pulled back and a falling wedge right to the 21-day moving average. Tested it, and then popped. New all-time high on Thursday at 136. This wouldn't shock me to see mid-150s. DESP, nice pattern, and a beautiful flag is formed with great technicals. I'm showing you this one because despite the fact that it can be thin, recently volumes come into it, I'm thinking like this should be a swing. If it pops here, I would look for 15. DraftKings, been long DraftKings since it broke out. I think it was back here in May of last year, so it's almost a year. That's right, it was in the high 20s, it made it to the high 40s. And my target now is 53. DNUT exploded on a major deal with Starbucks, but came down hard. It did hold the gap right there and popped on Friday. If we can get above Friday's high, 1605, I think we're headed to 17.5, 19, and 22. DSP, beautiful rising channel. Software stock is near key resistance, but if it gets through, I'm looking for 17 and 19. So, 15 and 17. DTSS, very, very, very thin. It just went bonkers here one day. Came down and formed a beautiful coil and tried to break out last week, but wasn't able to follow through. Watch this one for over 970 with volume, 9 3/4, 980 in that area, and we can see 13 again. DYN, beautiful long-term chart, and now a 5-week consolidation. Keep an eye on this one. Should it break out about 30, you might see 35 and 39. Another little junior gold, EGO is making new multi-year highs. Matter of fact, from what I'm seeing, it's the highest level reached in 7 years. Momentum could carry this one to the high teens. EGY breaks out of a base pattern and goes vertical, hardly backs off at all. This is a really neat little junior oil that I think is headed for 8.5 and 10. EH exploded to its declining tops line. A couple lateral resistance, broke out a week ago and then pulled back. I'm not clear, but I think the target is 22. ELEV broke out and pulled right back on Wednesday, then backed off Thursday, Friday. It needs to hold it here and then reverse 6.5 and 8 are targets if it does go. ERF is something I haven't talked about before, but I noticed it today and I said, I got to show my people this. 1345 to 20 in the last few months, but slow and steady riser. Not only that, new all-time highs breaking out across a 1.5 year long base. It's in the oil sector, and the oil's pretty strong. You get this to run, you might see mid-20s. ESPR, another drug junior biotech stock, big run-up, coil, and run right back up to the highs. There is a double top here at 328, 334, 340 was tagged. The stock gets up through here, we should see 4.5 and 5. EVER, beautiful rising channel, a rising wedge here. I think the stock breaks out of the coil, runs to 23 and 28. Those are your next targets. FAST in a beautiful rising channel as well. First this angle and then accelerated angle tells me that if it doesn't break down, you might see 80, 82. Fate, beautiful rising channel for months now. It's taken it from 165 to 9, almost 883, and now this coil. I need this to hold without breaking down. Under about 6.5. If it pops, 9 and 11 are targets. And at Copperfield, FCX breaks out of a long base, multi-year highs. Next target would be a test of the 22 high, 52-ish. SCCO, the other copper stock we follow, yeah. There it is. It's broken out of a major base, and this too has gone to new all-time highs. Not two, but this has gone to all-time high. This is a better angle of descent, a better chart, and better technicals than FCX, but it's much more expensive. With that kind of a pattern, this thing could be 125, 140. Next is Finger, which finally, after months of declining, they have popped on Friday. I keep an eye on this one. I need it across 315 with energy to get going. Then your target's 440. Free for it, McMoran. I'm sorry, FRPT is not free for it, McMoran. FRPT is the Fresh Pet, the pet food company. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I get a fifth wave with this kind of volume and these kind of technicals, I'm not going to be surprised to see first 125 and then 140. FSM, another silver stock that's breaking through multiple tops. Extension target is 6. FTAI, what a chart. 15 is 73 and running. All-time highs, you might see a spike up into the 80 area. FTI in the oil and gas sector breaks out keys of resistance and starts to really ramp up. What a chart. 28, 30 is targets. GDX, another gold ETF that's breaking out of double bottom base, and I think should be headed for a test of 35. 36 and then 39. GDXJ, the junior gold miners, also breaking out. Probably going to test 43.5, 4 near term. GDXU is another 46 and low 50s. GEO, this is a tech trader swing that we put out in October when it was traded 8.5, 3/4 area. It's just about doubled to 15.43 and looks like 17.85.18 would be your target. GLD is the ETF for gold itself, and you can see with gold making new all-time highs, so is this one. Not sure how much more it has short term for any of these. I think gold and silver are extended, but major breakouts could be the beginning of a kind of a generational type move. General Motors, breakaway gap, flag, pop, run up, now consolidating. What a beautiful chart. You would think this is a tech stock. It's gone from 27 to 45. There's some key resistance up here, but we get through that, you might start to see 50s again. GNK in the shipping group, beautiful rising channel. Next target, 24. GOLD, we mentioned this is Barrick Gold, another gold stock that's up against resistance. Not quite as strong as the others, but I'm still looking for an eventual move to 20.5. Gush, just to give you an idea how strong oil has been, check out the GUSH. Phenomenal rising channel, but it's moved from 28 to 44. And even though it's broken out, it's short-term extended. Now, if the momentum carries it further, we might see 50, but be careful with that one. HEAR finally breaks out of a big base, breakaway gap on volume, and now flagging. Shouldn't take out 18.5. 23 is my target. HIMS, long-term rising pattern, breakaway gap, rising channel, another pullback on low volume has me intrigued. Could be set up for a move higher to get it into the high teens. HIPO, really intriguing chart, base, breakout, flag, or coil, and then another breakout. As BK said, it could be the next route. I don't know about that, but sure, it looks like it got huge momentum. Near-term target 30. HMY in the gold and silver group, you can see this one's as strong, if not stronger than most, but at the top of the channel. HUYA, inverse head and shoulders, breakaway gap, pop, wedge, breaking out on Friday. I'm looking for 6.25 and 7. IAG, yet another gold, breaking out of a base, run up, retest, nice wedge for him, and then a pop. Engulfing reversal on Friday. This one may very well see, $5. IDYA has been consolidating for 5-6 weeks now within a rising channel. Looks like it could be getting ready. Next target, mid-50s. INFA in a beautiful rising channel and has been for almost a year. Looks like it's going to extend to 40. IOVENTS, a large 1, 2, 3, 4, and this consolidation near the moving average and trend line and price support If it holds here and goes, could lead to 2021. First target would be, let's call it 1821. Jemiah, well, there was a flyer, but it's threatened to come down. It's done a 50% fib retracement to the 50-day moving average and price support. Cannot let it go any lower than that. Stop under 475. My targets are 6.5 and 8. And we showed you JNUG, or we didn't. JNUG and Nugget both look strong. These are gold bull ETFs that are up against resistance and extended, but boy, momentum takes this higher, we can see 48. LBPH had a massive explosive move on big drug news, and ever since then, for 3 months now, it's just coiling. LFMD break out of a base from a wedge, pop, pull back hard, and then resurrect itself and now flagging. Extension target 13. LQDA, beautiful rising pattern. Here's where it accelerated, the rising channel, the target 18. MDIA went ballistic last week. The stock in just a few days has gone from 41 cents, I kid you not, to 6.86. That's 15-fold increase in about 7 or 8 sessions. So, and it is also at long-term resistance. So at this point, I would, and with the pullback intraday on Friday, I have to say be careful here. But let's see if it sets up and then moves higher. Meso, breakaway gap, running gap. Is that an exhaustion gap? I can tell you though, any stock that goes from 208 to 736 a week is going to need some consolidation. Well, it's certainly pulled back in what looks like a neat quarterly falling wedge. Let's just see what this does here. If it holds Friday's low of 540, there may be 7 or 8 on it. New swing ML pop broke out, pulled back. We gave you a swing on it. It's already moved from high 50s to mid 70s. This, I think, is a home run that goes to 110.15 or more. MNMD spiked out, wedged, and broke out. Now the 2-day pullback. I think it's an entry out for a move to mid-teens, high teens. Micron, all-time highs and a fantastic rising channel. Much like AMD, I think this stock has momentum to get to the mid-150s. Nanox exploded a month ago, backing and filling in a coil. We're going to have to wait to see if it can pop out or roll over, but I think the odds are pretty good that at some point we see a run back to the mid-teens. Utility power generator NRG from October low near 36 has gone to 73, doubling. But boy, I got to tell you, momentum is powerhouse on this. Looking for 80. Nutanix, one of my top 5 favorite stocks this year. I gave you a swing on it here in the 30s. It's made it into the mid 60s. But take a look at this. It's right at the breakout point. And if it goes high 70s, 79, 78, 79, next target. NTRA, tech trader swing, popped, coiled, and it's broken back out. Friday was a big day, up 7%, but a new high near 100. Looking for 111.12 range. NXC, a little junior minor. Look at this base, breakout, wedge, run up, wedge, and pop again. I think it extends to 10, maybe 11. NXL, look at this run. Again, after a move like that, it's going to consolidate. But if it breaks out of this thing, we might see 4 or 5 on it. Careful though. OCGN, just a beautiful chart. It's a cheapie. This stock's gone from 45 cents to over $2. Pulled back and bounced again Friday. My target, 3. OPRA. Beautiful base, beautiful breakout, pulled back, and now wedging in what I consider an entry opportunity with a tight stop under 14.5. If it pops, we're looking for 17 and 20. ORN, Engineering Construction Group, breaks out of a base, retests, runs up, wedges, pops. So 1, 2, 3. Wave 4 is underway. 5th wave takes me to 11. Oscar, tech trader swing. It looked like it broke out and then it pulled back again. So I need that to hold and stop under 13. Move over 15, 15, 15. And I would look for high teens and then low 20s. Ousted itself and from 5.25 to 1140 and doubled in a week. So you can see why it might have pulled back here. I'm going to say I'll hold with a stop under 8 3/4. The next target is 13. In the silver sector, Pan American Silver coming through a triple, quadruple top. Looks like it might be a good long-term play into the high teens and maybe low 20s. PAYS, nice rising channel, accelerated a week and a half ago, pulled back, and then jumped again last week. So it looks like momentum is strong on this one. My target is going to be 6 1/4 and 7 3/4. Impinj popped here. We put a swing on it in the low 60s, and it's made it to 132. So doubled, pulled back to the trend line, and snapped back on Friday. I still like to look at this one for 145. Palantir, I think, is in trouble. I just don't like what I'm seeing. It looks like a head and shoulders. The right shoulder is no volume, which is typical of a head and shoulders. But as I've said hundreds of times in the room and in webinars and seminars, a head and shoulder is not a head and shoulder until it actually breaks the neckline. It could be a wedge. In this case, it could be a three-way falling flag. If it holds, and I think the key with this one is do not let this go under 21.5. That's where it comes down to 19 or lower. If it breaks out, we're looking for a retest for 27 and above. PSTG broke out of a base, pulled back and tested, exploded, and now coiling. Obviously, you want to break out of this coil. If it does, I'm looking for mid-60s. Pubmatic popped the base, wedged, popped another one, and flagged. If we pop again, 27. Quick, disappointing. The stock broke out, we put a swing on it, ran up right to the target, and it came way off. It's testing the trend line here and filling the gap. I can't allow this to go much lower than 13.5. Stay tuned. If it does swing back, 17 and 21 are targets. Rev Group's been a beautiful rising channel and broke out. Any further upside here, you can see that this breakout tells me this may be a $30 stock. RNA, tech trader swing since the high single digits, and it's tripled, tagging 27.66 before the pullback Thursday. Keep a stop on the Thursday's low. It was an inside day and a positive one on Friday, but anything under 21.5 might be exit time. Should it get above 27.5, we might see 31.2. Root, star of the year. That's my opinion. Check this out. February 8th, 722. April 5th, 83.81. Amazing 11-12 fold increase in just 2 months. But there you have it. Where can we go? I'm a seller up here. I don't know if stock accelerates. We can see $100. RXT. I like this breakout on Friday, and I like the overall chart pattern. It tells me this isn't done yet. My target is 60, 62. Starbuck and a shipping group is wedging in here. My opinion is if it breaks its wedge, this is a $27 stock. SCRA with explosive pop, coil, breakout, and now it's coiling again or flagging, whatever you want to call it. Call it a flag. Any breakout above here, above 10, and we're looking at 13. Sprouts Family Markets, beautiful chart. Keeps running, it's consolidating. Next move is 68.9. SGH got slam dunk in October, only now 13, but it's made it back and doubled. 26.7 range, now flagging. Next target, 30, 29.30 zone. SGHT, V bottom, ran up 5 waves from the beautiful coil. Maybe breaking out here, but it reversed Friday. Watch this one over 6. If you see 6, you should have 8. SIGA breaks out of a base, had a 2 or 3 day pullback, and then ran again. Right now, sitting on top of the prior high. If it holds, your target's 11. Solid Bio, another junior biotech in a rising channel, and a beauty. Consolidating in here. This needs over 15. If so, 18.5 and 21 targets. SMTC with a big week, exploded. Went from low 20s to mid 30s just in a week and a half. Maybe extended short term. It's at resistance. Friday was a pullback. Let's see if it sets up for more. SPIR broke out. We put a swing on it actually the day before, and then came down hard on a secondary. It's been going sideways and forming what looks like a flag. I can't tell. Obviously, you don't want this one under 11. That's my stop. If it pops, 15.5 and 18, 19 are targets again. SPRY, another junior biotech. Beautiful chart. Recent and current pullback retest. If it holds and goes, 12 is your target. STI spiked and it's been flagging. Really good technicals. So I'm keeping this in my watch for a move over 375 that could get you 7, 8, and even 9. STOK, breakaway spike, and now a flag. It feels like the kind of stock that if it pops again is going to be mid-teens, high teens, low 20s. STRC, another tech stock that spiked, pullback, held support right there. Spiked again and flagged and popped on Friday. It may have just broken out of a coil. See it? Keep an eye on this one, targeting 3 and 4. SWVL. Hard run up, coil, breakout wedge, breakout wedge, breakout, and well, we'll see. But certainly the target might be 30 or better. Wow. Talk. I love this chart. Little low price stock that came out of a base, flag, pullback, flag, run up. Right now, to me, it's pointing to 4 3/4, 5, maybe 6. TCNFF from one of my cannabis specialists. He said, keep an eye on this one. It might be the best stock in the group. I don't know, but it did go from 3.5 to 13 and change. Your target, 16.5. Teva, beautiful rising channel, doesn't look done, targeting 16.5 3/4. Tandem breaks out of a base, pops and is flagging here, or wedging. Yeah, little mini wedge. My target is 42. TPC in a construction group, breakaway gap, wedge, run up channel, looks like momentum may take it to 20. TripAdvisors breaks out of a base, retests, forms a little wedge, breaks out with a breakaway gap, and now has a coil. Well, this is the kind of stock that does interesting things when it pops. And this 1, 2, look, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so this is the 5th wave consolidation. And it's always less reliable. It could roll over. Let's put it this way. Over 28 3/4, I'm looking for 31 and 34. TXT. When it popped and flagged in here, I put a swing on it. It never really worked. It took 6 months of consolidation before it finally broke out. Obviously, now it's working because it's gone from 76 to 97. My $100 target is well within reach. Uber, well, I've been long, or give you that down in the 29 range. It made it all the way up into the low 80s. There's a triple top source here. This gets over 82. You might see 88 and 95. VERI, beautiful rising channel after breaking out of a base. A couple of days pullback, but not on a lot of volume, and suddenly right back up again. Extension targets are 9 and 11. VINC, a little junior biotech that broke, ran, and now it's pulled back. It's got to hold it right there. Stop would be under 4.5. Your target 7.5 to 9.5. VIST, Vista Oil's been in a beautiful rising channel for a couple of years, and now flagging. Next target 47. VITL, Vital Farms, new multi-year highs breaking out of a base. I have a target of 29. Great momentum. Viking, well, we had a swing on it here when it broke out in the high 20s. It made it to, exploded to 99. That's 70 points on a swing. Now coiling, and is it ready for the next level? Well, 125 target, it does. Vanda, exploded on big news for bipolar drug. Ran from 3 and change to 6 and change, and now it's pulled back to retest the breakout point. On a very low volume comparatively. If it should snap back, I'm looking for 5.5 and 6.5. BRM, beautiful rising channel, extension target, high 20s. VRT, been phenomenal all year. It's gone from the low teens to the mid 80s. The momentum in this stock tells me it's not done either. 95 target. BST is very similar. Big engulfing reversal bar on Friday. I now think mid 80s is doable. VVPR exploded for 2 days and pulled back for 2. Low volume pullback and good technicals tell me that if it holds this I think 4.5-5 zone and then starts to move with volume, we might see another snapback on it. WDC, great looking long-term chart. Right up against key resistance, however, be careful, it's extended. XPO Logistics, my favorite, and then whole transportation group. What a chart. Even after a 2-for-1 split and a spin-off, GXO, this stock continues to power ahead. Well thought of institutionally, I'm looking for 150. Zeta, tech trader swing, exploded. Inside day Friday, I'm looking for 13.5 and 15. And that's it. Long, I have a few charts to discuss to go over with you. And let's take a look at them. Adobe, and this one I added this weekend. I don't like to break down bear flag and then break down and then roll over. So this to me looks like very, very weak. Probably looking for 445, 415, 385. Those are my targets. Autodesk, this looks like a head and shoulders. The neckline may have broken already. Targets 228 and 208. Akamai came down hard and is maybe drifting, but I think we're going to see 102 and 95. AMN breaking a bear wedge. Look at this declining channel. I think we're headed down towards 49.50. AMR breaks a big uptrend, forms a bear flag. Not pretty. Targets 270 and 210. ATGE came down hard and bounced. If it rolls over here, we're looking at 44, 41. CAR, well, take a look at this long topping pattern that broke. Now it's a rising bear wedge right to the moving average. I think a retest of 100 may be in order, and then 85. CCK, massive head and shoulder type top, breakdown, rising wedge. If it fails here, look out below. We'll probably test 69 and mid-60s. CEIX, looks like a head and shoulder top, breakdown, snap back to the next line, and failure. Obviously, I want to see this one under 75. Then I'm looking at 69 and 61. CMT broke down hard, and it's gone through multi-month consolidation that looks, if it rolls over, to be a setup for a move towards, I think, 13.5. ESTC breaks down and has a really nasty looking falling pattern that's now moved into the gap. I'm looking for a gap fill at 84.5. Fox Factory was the tech trader swing short up in the high 60s. It made it to the mid 40s, and now it looks like it might be a $38 stock eventually. INMD breaks down, forms a rising bear wedge there, a bear flag. Snap back to test, and now it's rolling over. Look at this thing if it breaks. You might see this stock in the low teens. LITE looks like a head and shoulders with a massive right shoulder. Look, it's testing the support. Should have break. 41 and 38 targets. New York Times, well, it broke down from the little bear wedge, came down from the larger bear flag. Again, we have a double bottom. Should you break 42? I'm looking for 39 and 35. Qualis broke down, and it's got a large bear type coil pattern. It looks like it may have broken it Friday. I think this has energy for 150, and then we'll go down to 138. Sentinel broke down. It's forming a bear flag in here on a bear coil or whatever. I'm thinking this stock makes it down to test 18. Yelp broke down hard and goes right back up to the moving average and declining tops line. If it fails here, we'll roll over, but be careful. Don't let it break out on you. Targets at 37, 35, 32. And finally, Zscaler broke its pattern from the little bear flag. Couldn't get through, and now it's just drifting lower. At some point, it's going to accelerate down to maybe 160 and 135. Folks, that's an exhaustive look at the indices, the technicals, the ETFs that we follow closely, The Nasdaq 100 generals had a bunch of longs and some shorts that you guys could review for this weekend and be prepared for what could be a very volatile week next week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. This is HB out for now. Talk to you Monday morning. Bye-bye.